5 to 6 days after Susan Rice, he said, by the way, her talking points pretty much match my presidential daily briefing. And keep in mind that 2 to 3 days after Susan Rice appeared, I sent up the head of our National Counterterrorism Center, Matt Olson, to Capitol Hill and specifically said it was an act of terrorism. No pronoun there again. He says, and specifically said it was an act of terrorism, but that is what Matt Olson said. So he says, how could I be covering up something when I sent Matt Olson up to Capitol Hill to testify that it was an act of terrorism? Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, the president sent a letter to the president of Libya where he didn't call it a terrorist attack, even when in time the president of Libya was calling this a pre-planned September 11th terrorist attack. So I think when you look at official correspondence from the president through the acting ambassador to the president of Libya, which came out in our hearing and was testified to under oath, the words that are being used carefully, like you just said, act of terror. An act of terror is different than a terrorist attack. The truth is, this was a terrorist attack. This had Al-Qaeda at it. This came over the wall very quickly, attacked and killed 2 people, and then later 2 more hours later. Ambassador Stevens in real time told his number 2, while he was being attacked, Greg, we're under attack. There were pre-planned attacks beforehand, including blowing out a piece of the wall at this diplomatic facility in Benghazi. That information was denied in real time to the American people. Here's the real point, though, and the one that our committee's trying to get to. There were 3 fundamental mistakes. They said they needed more security. They got less security. They began being attacked and were attacked for more than 7 hours, and we're to believe that no response could even be started that could have helped them 7 hours later. Quite frankly, you can take off from Washington, D.C. on a commercial flight and practically be in Benghazi by the end of 7 hours. You certainly can take off from areas of the Mediterranean and bring at least some support in less than 7 hours. And then lastly, the American people deserve real-time information, and other State Department assets deserve the same thing. Remember, there could have been a similar terrorist attack at another embassy or consulate, and they were not being prepared for what would have been a pre-planned Al-Qaeda attack.